Hello everybody. With this video, I want to present you the different phases of clinical studies in drug development. Let's start with an overview. The drug development can be divided in 5 phases, starting with phase 0. In this phase of early development, preclinical testing is done to identify potential candidates for clinical testing. The clinical testing then starts with phase 1 in the clinic. In these studies, few patients are exposed to the new drug in order to initially assess safety and side effects and to find the optimal dose. In phase 2 studies, more patients participate. Safety is further assessed and efficacy of the drug is evaluated. Afterwards, the drug enters phase 3 studies. These are large studies to assess effectiveness and further evaluate side effects. In these studies, the new drug is compared to standard treatment and/or placebo. Usually, after successful phase 3 studies, the new drug can apply for market authorization. After market authorization is achieved, phase 4 studies are conducted. In these studies, the drug is tested for long-term risks and benefits as well as long-term side effects. Now let's look a little closer into each clinical study phase. Starting with phase 1. These studies are first performed when testing a new drug, which show promising results in the preclinical testing. They are usually small trials with only a few participants that have advanced disease stages and are out of therapy options. This gives narrow in- and exclusion criteria, and therefore recruitment can be slow and take a lot of time. Objective of these studies are to find the optimal dose. So the evaluation, how much of the drug is safe to give to the patients. To assess this, dose escalation studies are often performed. This means that the first patient only receives a very small dose of the new drug. The next patient then receives a little higher dose, and this continues until the observed side effects outweigh the benefits of the treatment. So this way, the optimal dose can be identified. Also, in these studies, pharmacodynamics and kinetics are assessed. This is to investigate what happens to the drug in the body. Oftentimes, this includes a lot of blood tests for the participants. And mainly, side effects are monitored to note possible reactions to the drug. If a drug proves safe in these phase 1 studies, it moves on to the phase 2. Here, more participants are included. The in- and exclusion criteria are broadened to achieve a more diverse patient cohort. Sometimes the new drug is already compared to standard treatment and/or placebo, and randomization can also already be introduced in phase 2 studies. The objectives are to assess the efficacy of the drug, so to find out if the new treatment works well enough to be tested in the larger phase 3 setting, and also to monitor side effects of the new drug in a larger, more diverse patient cohort. If a drug proves safe and effective in phase 2 studies, it then can move on to phase 3. These studies are very large, mostly multi-center and often multinational studies that compare the new drug to the standard treatment and/or to placebo to prove the effectiveness of the drug. These studies are mostly randomized to limit bias. In addition to effectiveness, safety is also assessed in these studies in a large patient population. Furthermore, additional outcomes such as quality of life assessments can be introduced to evaluate how the drug affects and hopefully improves the life of patients. If large phase 3 studies are successful, the sponsors can apply for market authorization of the new drug. But as mentioned before, the clinical testing does not stop at this point. After the drug was licensed, phase 4 studies are conducted to assess the long-term risks and benefits, as well as side effects of the drug. The testing here is performed in the real-world setting, and very large patient cohorts can be included. To summarize, you can find a table here that compares the different characteristics and objectives of the clinical studies of the different phases. As you can see, the drug development and clinical research is a complex, multi-step process that ensures that all new drugs are proven to be safe and effective for the patients. Overall, you will also learn a lot more on different aspects of clinical research throughout this course. I hope you enjoy the learning and thank you for watching the video.